Hi, welcome to the Pet Esthetician Level 3 project. The first thing we're going to do in this video is introduce you to the dog that we're going to be working with. Second, we'll introduce the products that we'll be using on her and why. And third, we'll show you how I'm going to apply those products to her. This is Coral. She's a miniature poodle. She's about 5 or 6 years old. She was found roaming the streets in 2019, and I've had her ever since. Besides some tearing with some little tear stains, she has a clean bill of health. So what I'll be concentrating on is hydrating her skin and her coat to help grow out her continental that I've been practicing on her. The shampoo that I chose for Coral today is Burt's Bees Hypoallergenic Shampoo with shea butter and honey. The reason why I chose this shampoo is that it has a relatively simple ingredient deck with everything that I need in here for a shampoo just to get her clean and get the job done. This is a ready-to-use shampoo, so I'll use it directly onto her coat. The conditioner that I chose for Coral today is the Artero Vital Keratin Conditioner. I chose this conditioner because the first 3 ingredients in the ingredient deck were very hydrating ingredients. The finishing spray that I chose for Coral today is rosehip oil. Rosehip oil is not a very heavy oil, so it'll help keep her coat light and fluffy, but still sealing in that hydration that I packed into her coat. It's also good for her skin. It does have properties that help with the elasticity in her skin, so it's very good all the way around. So this is where I start soaking her coat in water, trying to get every part of her wet so it's easy to distribute the shampoo around her body. When I start shampooing, you'll notice that I don't shampoo her face. I'm not going to put any shampoo on her face for this bath. She doesn't really have a lot of grime or any dirt in her face, and just to spare her eyes from any burning from the shampoo, I try my best to get the shampoo only on the top of her head and work it through the rest of her coat, but not go onto her muzzle or her, or her eyes. So I'm having quite a bit of trouble trying to get this shampoo to distribute evenly around her coat. So here I'm adding a little bit of water just to make that shampoo a little bit more runny. This is a ready-to-use shampoo, and it's got the same viscosity as a shampoo that I would put in my hair, but her hair seems to just be soaking it up like a sponge. So I just added a little bit more water and a tiny bit more shampoo, and I think I have the perfect consistency to distribute the shampoo all over her body. Now I'm just trying to work that shampoo into her coat and make sure every part of her is covered. So if I felt that there wasn't really much shampoo that reached her feet, so I just added a little bit more. Just trying to massage it into her coat. And I'm squirting about maybe a tablespoon of shampoo in my hand every time I go back when I find a spot that just seems like it doesn't have any slip to it. I think overall I might have used like a 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup of shampoo on her. I wanted to make sure I rinsed her off thoroughly before I put the conditioner on. I wanted the conditioner to touch every part of her skin. It has a lot of moisturizers in there, and I don't want just her hair moisturized, but I also want to make sure all the skin, especially the short shaved parts, I wanted conditioner to touch her skin and moisturize it. So it's kind of fun squishing that conditioner through her thicker coat now that it's, you know, a couple inches long, and getting it all the way down to her skin. So what I'm gonna do after I've got the conditioner distributed through her body and in any nook and cranny that I can, I'm going to take a plastic garbage bag that I've cut to make a little shawl for her. And I want to keep the heat in because I want her cuticles to be open while this conditioner is sitting on her skin and on her coat, because I want to get those moisturizers into her hair cuticles. So I'm going to keep her warm with a plastic bag and with a towel over that plastic bag just to help keep that heat in just a little bit more. I cut a little hood for her with the drawstrings. It's so cute. So I'm going to leave this towel and bag over her for 10 minutes and just hang out with her. I felt like 10 minutes was a long enough time for the moisturizers to get into her cuticles and hang out on her skin. And she was pretty warm underneath the bag and the towel, so I'm pretty confident that it did its job. So like I said before, I wasn't going to use a clay mask, but the type of mask that I chose to use today was a hydrating mask. So leaving the conditioner on for 10 minutes is how I would use a hydrating mask, and opposed to if I just wanted to use a, you know, basic general purpose conditioner on a dog, I would just consider that the conditioning portion. But since this has keratin in it and a lot of moisturizers in it, and since I gave her such short haircuts in parts of her body and grow her hair long in other parts, I really wanted to make sure her skin and coat was deeply moisturized, and that's why I chose to leave it on her for 10 minutes. Now, this conditioner does not contain the methyl sisters, so it actually can be diluted and used as a leave-in conditioner. Since this was in the bathing portion is when I use this conditioner, I do want to thoroughly rinse it off. I don't know what would happen if I left the conditioner on her skin if I didn't rinse her off more thoroughly. So just as good practice, I did a thorough rinse on her. If I wanted to use a leave-in conditioner, I would just dilute it and apply it to her separately, just to make sure there wasn't anything too concentrated left on her skin, because I'm worried it might irritate her skin. And everything was time-lapsed, so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but not sitting here for an hour watching me bathe and dry her out. So I'm gonna squeegee her dry. Just try to squeeze a little bit of that water out of her hair with my hands. Then I'll use a towel. And I don't really vigorously try to rub dogs too much. And it's more about squeezing all of that wet you know, coat and getting all those little drops out. So when I start drying her, actually I usually use a flat nozzle. I think it's called a water peeler. But since I left that at work and this is a very new home salon that I just set up, I didn't have all the tools I needed with me. So I decided to use just no nozzle. I did not want to use a velocity cone because that seems to twist hair up and just make little knots while you're drying long coats like this. Plus, I don't need such a forceful amount of air. I really just kind of want to have more of a, quantity of air and not just like power blowing at her coat. So I'm practicing stretch drying. I'm trying to dry her coat all the way around kind of evenly until it's about 90-95% dry. Then what you'll see is me starting to brush her while I'm drying her to stretch out her coat and, you know, just make her hair more straight instead of having those tight little poodle curls. And that's going to help me get the desired look when I'm practicing her haircuts. You just want nice straight hair. And actually at some portion of this video, I know I do spray some water back onto her coat a little bit because she does have a few tangles in her hair and I wanted to get those out. And, you know, I didn't want to brush her hair while it was too dry. If I brush her hair while it's completely bone dry, it tends to break a lot easier. And this is a time-lapsed video, so I'm actually not brushing that vigorously on her. It just kind of looks like I'm rushing through it here. So yeah, her hair is a little bit damp, and it was hard to hold her head still while I was, there you go, there's the water spritz because it was getting too dry. It's hard to hold her head upwards while I'm drying her, so I just decided to just brush her out without the dryer on her head and just hope for the best. So after her head is nice and dry, I'll put a little ponytail in so she can see. I'm probably gonna do some poodle banding later on after this. But for right now, I want to spray the rosehip oil around her body and then brush it all the way through her coat from head to toe just to get it to cover her body, give her a nice polish off. And that's it.